Welcome back to another episode of the Rankable podcast. I'm your host, Garrett Sussman of iPullRank. We've been on a few week hiatus and I missed you guys, but I am excited because today we are talking bread and butter of both me and my guests. We're talking enterprise SEO, especially when it comes to JavaScript and technical issues. I'm joined today by Serge. He's the CTO of JetOctopus, which is this awesome tool that helps you do log audits and analyze your site for any sort of issues with internal linking, redirect, you name it, JavaScript rendering issues. They catch it. So basically, Serge loves big data. He's big, crawling, log analyzing at scale, sharing data insights. He actually used to work with a bunch of big websites like job aggregators and price comparisons with programmatic SEO, which we all know with AI, it's like kind of people are like all in on programmatic for millions and millions of pages. I'm excited to talk with him today. Thanks for joining me, Serge. How you doing, man?
Hey, Garrett. Thanks for having me here. Fine.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, so it's interesting because you had an interesting kind of pathway to SEO because you're a dev at heart, right? Like,
still.
So how'd you end up in SEO in the first place?
Even as a dev, my first job, it was like, I don't remember, like 15 years ago in office, not a freelance job. It was a marketplace for backlinks, and probably, some SEO karma following me whole my life. And after, my second job as dev, it was job aggregator. And after aggregators, and organic traffic is very important for aggregators, right? And you have to deal with it. So not only PPC advertisement. And as a developer, and I wanted to be a better developer later than SEO, I should dive deeper. And after we created own job aggregators and going with different location, and when you're doing your own business, you want to be as much as efficient as you could. And that time it was not so many people who understands, huge technical SEO stuff so good, especially in our location. And as per usual, if you want to do something well, do it by yourself.
Dude, I hear that. And it's so interesting, especially with JetOctopus working with enterprise clients, because for so long, old school, yes, there were, CMSs to kind of handle everything, but so much of it was custom and so much of that stuff would break. And now we have things built on top of platforms, which leads to so many issues. And then you have new tools that allow you to do some really cool things with JavaScript, but people don't understand how that can really mess with your SEO. So I kind of want to dive in and just pick your brain about what, from your perspective, is unique about technical SEO and auditing like an enterprise site when you have millions of pages.
Like my point of view, you have to deal with the data. There are some thoughts on the market in general, like, in community, you don't have just grow 1,000 pages from a few millions and you will be fine. You just get some bunch of pages, you analyze it because all pages are similar. You have catalogs, products, wherever. There are similar technique and no worries. But my opinion, when you're working with a big websites, you became even less SEO, but as more as like data scientist. You should understand more, numbers, statistics stuff, how to work with all the data, how to analyze it. And what's more important, how to make conclusions, what you saw. Because, you can see some bunch of numbers and you think it's white. I came and it's, gray, and you have choose a different approach. So it's more about like working and understanding the data correctly with correct conclusions.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Now, when you're speaking about looking at the data from an SEO perspective, for our audience, like what type of data are you looking at? What type of data are you analyzing?
So as per usual, it depends on the website. But what we found, the common picture, like let's take a huge website and e-commerce with some thousands, tens or hundreds of thousands products, etc. And it will be a very old website for sure, like 10 years at least, or like 5, but I believe 10 years at least. So What I will look, first of all, how they manage their indexation, how catalog is built, how they manage their filters and sorting on catalog pages. Because, the old way, we put non-canonical tag, we canonize only like main, brand page or category page, etc. And we put non-canonical tag, everything will be fine. And you, fucked up with your crawl budget, with Googlebot ignores your canonical tag some way. You put non-canonical paginated pages because 10 years ago, everybody did that. And it's completely wrong, to be honest, in 2023. So here's the main thing, you can have some duplications, I don't know, like, loading time, etc. But how do you manage your catalog pages, their indexation, accessibility management, let's say? It's a foundation for huge catalog websites, my opinion. And after, it depends. So if your loading time sucks, in 5 seconds, every page loads, let's go for loading time. No duplication, no title duplication at this point. Go fix it. If your loading time is fine, half second, you don't have to do, 1.1, 0.1 second. It's enough, to be honest. And for such type of websites, it's crucial to have logs, of course. And with all your millions and millions of pages, how many pages have been crawled by Googlebot? So you will be surprised at a very thin amount, or you can have another picture. A lot of pages will be crawled by Googlebot, but not in your site structure. It will be some old pages, outdated pages, removed pages, like trash, in one word. And you see like 60% of your crawl budget spent on like anything but not on your site structure, not on pages you created on a website. And I'm not joking here. I'm not, it's just real-time cases, what we see, like not every day, but week to week, we're talking with client. I love to go in for demo calls, for onboarding calls, and just to get the sense what's going on with the website.
It's so funny that you mentioned it, because it's like so many of these sites, and I'm guilty because like I'm a marketer at heart. Like I love SEO, but it's just like I want to put out content. I want to put out all sorts of pages. And you have these websites that don't necessarily think about the SEO impact of all the pages that they're putting out. So like if you're not handling your products well, and they aren't redirected or 404'd correctly, and they're just sitting there, to your point, and Google seems to be paying more attention to its indexing and just removing pages because there's so much crap on the web, and obviously that costs them money, and they don't necessarily want to be wasting money. So if you are a new SEO and you're coming into a large enterprise, whether it's legacy that's been there forever and has a lot of cleanup, or you just getting your hands around everything and you need software to audit like the site and monitor the SEO performance, you mentioned a few of the issues you're paying attention to in terms of like canonicals and website speed and duplicates and all that. What, in your perspective, are those key like important features that SEOs should look for when they're choosing software like that?
It depends. If you're talking about enterprise website, we're talking about huge site, because if a landing page for Hewlett Packard, and there are like business card 10 pages, enterprise, but not in terms of the size, right?
Right.
So you will work with the volume. And Screaming Frog is a great tool. I have a license. I have Sidebar, not because just there are competitors, but, it's great tools and I love to use them. And I use them like many, many years, to be honest. It's one piece of your tool set. And earlier or later, you came to us or to some other guys. There are not a lot, just 1, 2, 3 more tools. So only just 4 enterprise crawler on the market, and Log Analyzer and Google Search Console integration. And everybody has like the same approach and almost like more or less the same tool set, because enterprise needs the same tool. Like, all enterprise, there are not some unique stuff and etc. You will need a crawler to crawl your website as much pages as you can. Again, different approaches. When you have 10 million websites and crawl it every week, probably not less efficient. Okay, do it every month, do it like once a quarter. And after do small crawls, like thousands pages like that, you will need log analyzer. Enterprise without logs, without all the scroll budget, because you will wake up, crawl budget. You go to bed, you think like crawl budget, some loading time issues, indexability, etc. Because you're always fighting to get more pages to be Google indexed or to have less pages to be Google indexed after you occasionally, forget your meta no index or robots.txt file. It's just life. And you will need to track your performance, and Google Search Console is a great tool. They have a lot of data, and for all enterprise, customers, enterprise website, I recommend you just click us on pause and go to Google Search Console and add your subfolders, as many as you can. So if you have subfolders in URL structure, add them, tens, hundreds of your subfolders, and after load the data in API, you can do it by yourself with Python. You can go to JetOctopus and to merge the data, and you will have so many keywords, so many data. How do you rank? Where you have opportunities, where you lacks, you will say me thank you after a few months.
Well, it's interesting to that point of there's the one side of just fixing things that are broken and increasing the crawl budget. And then there's the strategic approach of making sure that there are the right pages that are being indexed. It can be, if you have millions of pages, it can be a little too much you don't crawl the entire site. Sure, you need the big picture of how much of your site is indexed, but you can pick and choose where you need to be, where you need to crawl your site to audit it. From your perspective, what are the best practices? And it's funny, you mentioned it twice, and there's always going to be an it depends for any of these sites and whatever your specific site needs. But what are some of the best practices for running a crawl on a site that big? Do you tackle pieces? Do you tackle all at once? How do you approach it?
In general, it's a great question, and we will make it a little bit wider. Not about crawl, but general approach. Enterprise websites are so huge, and they always have tons and tons of different problems. There are no way to have enterprise website to be fully Google guidelines, etc. So you always have to prioritize. And I always said on almost every podcast conference, what is working on your friend's website? It doesn't mean you will have some, benefits from that. So if your friend make internal linking and you're going to make it, and probably you will see zero in results, in some increases. So in general, for big websites, for crawling and analyzing, very oftenly, it's not one website, right? You can have, it's one domain, but it's probably 10 or 20 different websites inside, right? And 20 or more different teams working on, some sub website. And what you will do, work on your, specific part. Another approach is, again, big websites are so huge to make some changes on them. Just grab a piece and work on it, some categories, locations, where you can, on small bunches of pages, and we're talking about, again, tens of thousands of pages, and get hands-on on teeny part of a website. Because huge websites, it's, even if Google guidelines said, paginated pages should be opened to indexation, and you have 10 or 15 years paginated pages as non-canonical pages, I will not remove canonical tag in one moment for the whole website. It's always matter of small experiments. We call it data approach, make an experiment, compare with rest of the page, or the same amount of pages. Became better, nice. Worse, okay, let's try something else. So here's I think it's the most, easier approach. Do not shoot for the birds, with the closed eyes, something like that, just because it's all about the data and selecting the, I would say, with the less effort to have more results. Not because just not good SEO guys and girls not doing, tasks just to do tasks. Your metric is traffic or conversion, position, something like that. Not just created SEO tasks for developers or for content team, wherever.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. It's funny because, the other side of things, which is completely independent of the work that you're doing, is the politics inside enterprise. It's very hard to get any changes, let alone, you're a dev. It's like an SEO working with a dev. It's a very tricky relationship because the priorities are different. And at the same time, like
everybody
SEOs will come in.
hates each other.
Well, yeah, it sucks because it's like, if you have a good team that's working in unison that understands the value of SEO, then you can get there. Like if it's in the culture, but if it's not, it probably feels like an uphill battle. There's so much you and I can talk about. We were joking before this, how you and I could probably talk for hours about all these different topics.
Easy.
I do want to talk a little bit about JavaScript SEO and some of the common issues, because that's a really cool feature that JetOctopus offers in terms of identifying JavaScript SEO issues. What do you see? What should SEOs be paying attention to?
Oh, deep breath when we are coming to JavaScript topic. So let's just, let's remember how it was SEO 5 years ago. You have a page, it has HTML code, for example. You see some text, title, meta description, links, content, wherever. So now in 2023, you have a page, you see content, you see text, meta description, links, but Googlebot probably doesn't see.
It's like under the hood.
I'm not joking. I'm not joking here at all. So now when you have a JavaScript page on React, Angular, wherever, Next.js, so type any technology, what you heard, what you want. So you open a page in a browser. It doesn't mean so Google sees the same page. And there are tons of, issues can be, like probably your robots.txt has blocking on some JavaScript. Your SSR works, differently for bot or for end user, or like it doesn't work at all. Or probably, some JavaScript error. So it's endless list. And I will make a presentation for it on Brighton. So like for common sense, but what I could imagine and what I see now, it's beyond of my imagination. I'm honest here. And, like when we implement JavaScript crawler, I guess in 2019, and it was, half year, something like that. Clients came to us and said, like, you have a bug in your JavaScript crawler. Here is the content. You are not showing it. Okay, I dive deep. With the technical team, we check the code. Okay, we had some bugs. Yeah. Now, I was with the table. Last years, our client came to us and telling like, you have a bug in your JavaScript crawler, but in the end, no, it's not a bug in our JavaScript crawler. It's a bug on your websites.
Oh no!
like really. And the main problem now for SEOs, so you have some JavaScript issues, but you as SEO, you can't do nothing. Almost like 90% nothing. What you can do, you just can go to your developers and talk to them and like we have some problems. It's critical. Google can't render our page fully, like 3,000 links on HTML. It's not a good idea to be added by JavaScript, and like so on. So communication between teams, and you should like to be advocates sort of for developers, to talk with them and to get them realize it how important for them. Because we as developers see like, do you see page? Yes, I also see it. Good. It works. What do you want from me? And try to tell them a bit different reality, how Googlebot works and how in general page rendered by Googlebot, because it can be a huge difference for it. And of course, find wherever so we have in JetOctopus some special JavaScript tool. You put an URL, and we check some issues can be, but try as many tools what you can make ad hoc checking, for your pages after release, before release, I don't know, open Google Chrome Dev Console. And if you see some red text, probably it's not a good sign. And again, go to your developers and ask them. And many, many more here.
Dude, it's funny because it's like you're a dev. So I'm curious to ask you, what do you think resonates with developers? Obviously, it depends on their level. Like the higher up the developer is in the organization, I'd imagine the more they respond to revenue related types of issues and how that impacts revenue. But if you're, kind of someone in the weeds, or if you're like a smaller team, is it more just an like pointing out that here you have a technical challenge that they need to solve for that gets devs excited about? Or how do you frame it in a way that devs are like, oh yeah, I want to freaking solve this because this is in my wheelhouse?
Oh, yes, that's a great question. And, as a dev, I will be honest with you and our audience. So as devs, we are thinking like SEO guys, like, and SEO teams, like they're doing some shitty stuff, like they're trying to hack Google. It's not the correct way, etc. Like always tasks from SEOs, like they completely non-understandable, like they wanted to some pages, links. We have different things here. We have categories, we have products. What pages do you want it for us? And SEOs, when a website, has a revenue like 50% from organic traffic, it's your job as SEOs, talking continuously, like every day, every week with devs, etc. Like organic traffic gives us like 40% of money. Is it important? Like obvious, 40% is a lot,
Yes.
And for devs, like to talk, guys, like who's paying you for your salary? Like this organic traffic from Google get the tasks be done for SEO. I don't know how, because, that's how I understand it, like many years ago, the importance of SEO. I'm honest.
Dude. I mean, that's what it is. It's partially revenue, and it's partially just on like kind of education and explaining like the value of links. Like, they seem, you could just put them up and not really think too much of it. And, we have a nice site hierarchy, but we know from PageRank that there's so much more value in having your internal links organized and optimized and all that. And devs need to play a role. Dude.
Yeah, it's all about education, like step by step in small pieces. That's it.
Yeah. Over time, you got to wear them down. Serge, this is fun. So folks, if you're interested, definitely check out JetOctopus. It's an awesome tool, but I want to bring this around to rapid fire rankings. Serge, are you ready for some rapid fire rankings, sir?
Let's do that.
Okay, sounds good. We're going to put the music on, time on the clock, and we're diving in, kicking on fast and furious. First off, rank your top 3 of anything that you love most in the world.
Okay, motorcycles, spearfish. Okay, should be my family. It's the first, but okay, motorcycles, spearfishing family.
That's only fair. And I hear that. Okay, rank your best SEO or marketing win.
It was quite time ago, and without backlinks, and after we built and buy some thin amount of backlinks, we got a lot of traffic and good money on it, like more than 10 years ago. So thanks for Technical SEO.
Dude, backlinks is what's up. Rank your top 3 SEO tools. JetOctopus is obviously number 1. What are your other 3 top SEO tools?
So my top tools. First tool, Google Search Console. The second tool is Ahrefs. And the third tool, this one, Hands.
That's great, and I'm with you. Search Console is so critical, and obviously, and the brain. Rank your best SEO trick or tactic?
Okay, if you're talking about SEO tricks, I remember Like again, many years ago, we parsed Google suggestion page, like when you type in Google autocomplete for our semantic core, and we put a few words for every category and every like query on a catalog page. Like we put them as a tags in the text, like it put it, this item takes this one, this item takes this one, and it got some real boost. But it was like many years ago.
I love that.
Course,
it's funny. They don't work as well
I can say, internal linking, but it's not an easy trick and fast trick at all.
No, I agree that, but it's so fundamental. Okay, rank what you love most about SEO.
You know what you're doing and you see results, first of all, and you are not I'm as a developer can write an application for myself, but when you're doing SEO, you're doing for people and like for some content project, etc. And like its impact, let's say, like on your society, if you're doing some local stuff in general for the industry, when we are writing blog posts, making podcasts, etc. So I think about the impact.
Yeah, I mean, SEO is so underrated still. I don't know how. Rank your best learning SEO resource.
Google Webmaster, how to say, like Google Webmaster tools, their description, Google Search Console Central, something like that. So the manuals, official manuals, and I'm reading them, a few times per year just to be fresh. They're great, completely great.
Yeah. Especially
Twitter,
the developer docs. I do think that, and they've gotten better over time too. Rank the top 1 to 3 SEOs or marketers that you most look up to.
Okay, guys from Only and girls from Only, they're great in technical SEO tool. And I have some, not so public people, but it was for our clients, and I talked with them a lot. I'm hearing and like, I know nothing compared to them.
It's the best to talk to clients and really get an understanding of what their challenges are. And it's just good business in general to have those relationships. And then finally, rank your number 1 cause or charity that you want to promote.
If we're talking about charity, we have Ukrainian charity. It's called Save Life, and they're helping a lot for now, and during Russian-Ukrainian war. And I'm highly offered to donate to them, and we will make you subscription with with a donation.
No, but I mean, it is so important. I mean, your guys' story over the last year between what you and Julia, have done with your team is just nothing short of incredible. So much admiration for everything, that you and your country are going through. So I appreciate you, man. Serge, if people want to find you online, what's the best way to get in touch?
Online chat in JetOctopus.com. I can be there, and it's a great way to talk. And Twitter, type Serge, it's like Serge JetOctopus, wherever, and you will find me there. We'll be happy to talk.
There you go. We've got the links in the description. So if you want to get in touch with Serge and JetOctopus, definitely reach out. Thank you so much for being my guest. This has been an awesome conversation.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So my name is Garrett Sussman of iPullRank. We will catch you in the future for another episode of the Rankable podcast. We'll catch you later. Bye-bye.